On today's video, I'll be checking out the Audio-Scape MK609 by Kiive Audio. Obviously, the question is, if you are faced with spending nearly $2,000 to get a hardware version of this compressor, or perhaps spend just a little over £400 to get the Behringer version of the same hardware compressor, or just stick to a plug-in emulation, which one do you go for?
I want you to choose wisely.
Let me know in the comment section which one you go for, because I haven't tried the Behringer version, but obviously they've brought out their version, which is just this Behringer 369 2-channel stereo compressor and limiter for £411, or the Audio-Scape version, which is obviously nearly $2,000. But now the Kiive Audio obviously gave it to you for less, which is probably just under £100 to get it. Bearing in mind, you now have option to obviously throw in as much as. Which one do you choose? Go hardware, expensive Audio-Scape one, or the cheap Behringer one, and be happy, cheap and cheerful?
Okay, I know it's a cheap shot, but I feel so much better now.
Or perhaps go with the plugin. Well, let me just play some audio through this, then you can maybe see if that will help you decide. First thing is, obviously, this is emulation of the Audio-Scape 33609 version, which is nearly $2,000. So you've got the limiter section here, then you've got the compressor section here. So this is obviously your metering. On top here, you've got quite a lot of controls. This is the link, which is currently on. You can have it off. Oversampling, you can turn it up to times 16, but let's leave it at times 2 for the time being. Control, you now have a mix knob, so if you want to run this in parallel, you obviously got your output, the input there. You have THD for harmonic. You have the width. So don't mind this one. Obviously, I'm still running 14 days demo, because this is a demo version, obviously. So let's quickly have a listen to what it sounds like. I think you also can resize the plugin here. Look, UI size, so you can resize it. But let's just keep it 100. Now let's listen to what it sounds like, because I've not actually touched any button whatsoever, but just throwing it on the default setting, it actually sounded so good that I thought, let me not touch anything first so you guys can hear it before I start playing with it, because on the course of this video, I will obviously be pulling different, like extreme settings, just for you to see how much we can push this plugin and how it sounds when pushed. But for the time being, this is the default, and this is obviously on the Mixbus, because originally I had the Shadow Hills, but I've bypassed that so we can use the 33609. I also had the SSL native, which I've also bypassed, so we are now using this. Have a listen. Vem si ze mě příklad, brácho, tomu ver. Zapomeň na problémy, opušky se. Já vím, je to těžký, jebal by to pes. Jsem s tebou v tom, neboj, nedovolím nikomu, aby udělal stejnou chybu, jako jsem udělal já. Jsem stejně hráč, zkusím, co to dá, to je fakt. V životě se má. So if you look at the metering, you see that the reduction is very subtle, which is what you need most times for your, bus compressor, just a tiny glue. The settings which they've got on default is 3:1 ratio. Obviously no makeup gain, which we can add if we want, but I just wanted you guys to hear what it sounded like default. So now let's just play with the compressors, see how much we can push this compressor. So obviously we'll start with the threshold. Let's just crank it all the way down to -20. Then the release is still where it is, 100 milliseconds. The gain, we just add a bit of makeup gain. Then push this to 6:1, which is the highest ratio you have on this. Remember, there's also a high pass filter sidechain there, which is currently off. You can have it at 100 or 50, but let's leave it at off position for now. There's also some little, thing there, which is how fast the attack is. Slow, fast, stock. So basically, I think the stock is what the original unit is, but they've added slow and fast. So let's just have a listen to how it is currently. Den, vem si ze mě příklad, brácho, tomu ver. Zapomeň na problémy, opušky se. Já vím, je to těžký, jebal by to pes. Jsem s tebou v tom, neboj, nedovolím nikomu, aby udělal stejnou chybu, jako jsem udělal já. Jsem stejně hráč, zkusím, co to dá, to je fakt.
So what you notice is, even with the extreme compression, just listen to the snare, you know, the more of a clap snare on the beat. You see that that's still cutting through, which is to show you that this is really forgiving. Let's have a listen again, because sometimes, obviously, if you push a compressor this much, it flattens everything, but you still hear a bit of transient coming out from that clap. Have a listen, pay attention to that clap or the snare.
Den, vem si ze mě příklad, brácho, tomu ver. Zapomeň na problémy, opušky se. Já vím, je to těžký, jebal by to pes. Jsem s tebou v tom, neboj, nedovolím nikomu, aby udělal stejnou chybu, jako jsem udělal já. Jsem stejně.
So another thing I noticed with that snare is it actually now made it more upfront, you know, like you hear it more. But obviously, you're not going to use this compressor like this on your mix bus. It's just for the purpose of this demo that I'm actually pushing it extreme, just so we are clear with that. So on the mode, you also have option to have mid, side, or stereo. Let's just keep it stereo for the time being. This is the limiter section. Let's also try to push this a bit, but let's back the threshold down on the compressor.
Den, vem si ze mě příklad, brácho, tomu ver. Zapomeň na problémy, opušky se. Já vím, je to těžký, jebal by to pes. Jsem s tebou v tom, neboj, nedovolím nikomu, aby udělal stejnou chybu, jako jsem udělal já. Jsem stejně hráč, zkusím, co to dá, to je fakt. V životě se má riskovat, ale mám tempomat, za to mám od něj dar. Vím, co je chudoba a tak, hodím to za hlavu mou, to je bez debat.
So I actually like something about this compressor, which is the fact that it enhances the transients. So it might be to do with the THD, even though it's still at 0, but I just feel like even as it is, it enhances the transient in a musical way, which I quite like. So I've pulled this down now to -24. Let me see if I'm still getting the same effect.
Den, vem si ze mě příklad, brácho, tomu ver. Zapomeň na problémy, opušky se. Já vím, je to těžký, jebal by to pes. Jsem s tebou v tom, neboj, nedovolím nikomu, aby udělal stejnou chybu, jako jsem udělal já. Jsem stejně hráč, zkusím, co to dá, to je fakt.
So I feel like that's also contributing to it, because when I pull it down to -24, it's not as pronounced as, even though it's still there. So I quite like that about this compressor plugin. Let's now try to play a bit with the limiter section, because so far it's actually been so good. But let me know, obviously, on the comment section what you think about it, so it's not like my opinion that you're going off of. From you listening, just have a listen, you know, pay close attention to what this is sounding like so far, when it's on and when it's bypassed, and let me know what you think. So let's play with the limiter a bit.
Den, vem si ze mě příklad, brácho, tomu ver. Zapomeň na problémy, opušky se. Já vím, je to těžký, jebal by to pes. Jsem s tebou v tom, neboj, nedovolím nikomu, aby udělal stejnou chybu, jako jsem udělal já. Jsem stejně hráč, zkusím, co to dá, to je fakt. V životě se má riskovat, ale mám tempomat, za to mám od něj dar. Vím, co je chudoba a tak, hodím to za hlavu mou, to je bez debat. Dej si pozor na to, když mě zamrzí něco u srdce. Pocházíme z chudoby, k penězům nejdu lehce. Směj se teď, ne potom, víc života, taky zdraví o víc nejde. Jsem gangster, to je.
Obviously, that limiter section, I think, will benefit, especially if I'm trying to maybe run a parallel chain, because it still sounds so good, but it obviously clamps down, which is what limiter are meant to do, clamps down more on the transients. So I feel like that would be good for maybe drum boss and stuff, or parallel chain. But obviously, if I was going to use it on my drum boss, I will still not push the threshold all the way down, you know, just tickle it, maybe maximum 4 dB gain reduction. Let's just try that.
Den, vem si ze mě příklad, brácho, tomu ver. Zapomeň na problémy, opušky se. Já vím, je to těžký, jebal by to pes. Jsem s tebou v tom neboj, nedovolím nikomu, aby udělal stejnou chybu, jako jsem udělal já. Jsem stejně hráč, zkusím co to dá, to je fakt. V životě se má riskovat, ale mám tempomat, za to mám od něj dar. Vím, co je chudoba a tak, hodím to za hlavu mou, to je bez debat. Dej si pozor na to, když mě zamrzí něco u srdce. Pocházíme z chudoby, k penězům nejdu lehce. Směj se teď, ne potom, víc života, taky zdraví o víc nejde.
So I really think this compressor is really good. The guys at Kiive Audio did a great job on this compressor. So I'm actually sold, I must admit. I'm sold because, you know, even with extreme settings, you still could get away with a lot of stuffs, you know, with material like this, whereby, you know, you can easily overdo things. But I'm actually pushing it, trying to overdo it on purpose, but you could still see that it retains a lot of the, you know, transients and a lot of dynamic. So I quite like it so far. So I'll say just, you know, give the trial a try and let me know what you think about it, you know, because for me, so far, I really like what this is doing. So I'll try not to obviously make the video too long, but I thought let me just give it a quick trial and see what it sounded like. And I really like it. So until next time, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and obviously, you know, hit that super thanks or super sticker because it helps the channel. If you want obviously for me to mix your song, hit me up and check my EngineEars profile, engineears.com/zanypro. Until then, thanks for watching. Bye now.